Hey guys, it's Taylor Stratton and welcome back to Stratton Life. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be about how I knew my husband was going to propose, but then my mom and him tricked me into thinking that he wasn't, but then he actually did, even though I knew he was going to beforehand, but then didn't, if that makes any sort of sense. But it'll make sense after I explain everything. So let's get into the video. I did do a video about how I got engaged or how he proposed, and it kind of went into detail about like the backstory in that video. So I'll make sure to link that down below if you want to see that and like see the video of the actual proposal. My boyfriend, well my husband now, but boyfriend at the time, he was deployed to Iraq in 2017. He basically wanted to propose to me when he came back, and so he had the idea of doing it on the U of A football field, which is University of Arizona in our hometown, Tucson, Arizona. We're both a really big U of A fans. He messaged the Arizona Athletics page on Facebook asking how to go about that, and they gave him an email to the, I'm guessing the game coordinator or planning coordinator or something like that to set something up. So I do have the email that he sent to her. He basically said, "Hello, my name is Anthony. I had spoke to someone through your Arizona Athletics Facebook page about being able to propose to my girlfriend at propose to my girlfriend on the football field upon my return from deployment. Whoever I was talking to said they may be able to do something for me and told me to email you. So I'm just seeing if you guys would be able to do so. I love the U of A dearly and I still represent them out here in Iraq. It's always been a goal of mine to propose in the middle of the U of A stadium, being that my girlfriend loves the U of A just as much. It works out perfectly. Thank you very much for your time." His whole plan was to like figure out if they could even do the proposal and stuff like that, and then when he came back from deployment, he was going to ask my dad for his blessing, because I know he wasn't going to propose to me without that. That's just how he is. After they figured everything out, that's where the beginning of this story like takes place. So me, my mom, and my aunt were we went to Village Inn for breakfast, and I don't know when Anthony sent this to my mom. I don't know if it was the night before or if it was that morning. I don't really know the specifics. He took a screenshot of basically what the coordinator sent back to him, and he sent it to my mom. And so my mom didn't read the screenshot all the way through like she should have. But she was like, we were just talking about random things over breakfast, and I was sitting next to my mom and my aunt was sitting across from me, and she was like, "Anthony sent me the screenshot and I don't know why." And I was like, "Screenshot? That's weird, like what is it of?" So she hands me her phone, and I'm sitting there reading it. The email says, "Hi Anthony, first of all, thank you for your service. I am so happy to hear you're coming home from deployment and you're still representing Arizona and Iraq. I'm overall of our game day presentation and timing, so Caitlin directed you to the correct person. I'd love to help you work something out. When do you come home? Our November 11th game versus Oregon State is military appreciation game, so that would work out perfectly if you're able to wait." After she said, "Caitlin directed you to the correct person, I'd love to help you work something out," I'm guessing that's when my mom stopped reading the screenshot. So she was just kind of confused as to why Anthony was sending this to her and what the purpose of it was. She basically thought that he accidentally sent it to her and that he was supposed to send it to me. "My first thought when I heard your request was immediately thinking of this game. We're planning quite a bit of on-field introductions of veterans and active military, and we would very easily come up with an on-field promotion or recognition where both you and your girlfriend are on the field and you surprise her with the proposal." There's a little bit more. It just goes on to, "I don't think we'll be able to do it in the middle of the field due to the players being on and off the field, time constraints during timeouts, camera angles, etc., but we can definitely work something out in the end zone. Please let me know your thoughts on this idea. Once you have a date confirmed, I'll start working on our end, coming up with different ideas to share with you. Thank you." But I basically stopped reading after "and you surprised her with the proposal." I remember I took my mom's phone and I put it on the table, and I literally like just went like this, and I started immediately bawling my eyes out. I was so shocked, so surprised, so happy because I wanted nothing more than to be with this man for the rest of my life. So the fact that, like, I already knew he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me, but to like know he's actively like taking steps towards like marriage and being with me for the rest of his life was so heartwarming. And I was just flooded with so many emotions. I was like so happy, and I was so sad that like I knew about it. But yeah, so I like covered my mouth and I started crying, and my mom's like, what? And I was like, I don't think I should have seen this email. And she goes, what do you mean? And so she picked up her phone and she's like reading it like all the way through to the part where, you know, I last read off to like, then you could propose to her then or whatever. And my mom goes, because I'm next to her, she's like, I am so sorry. And then she turns back to my aunt and she's like, he's gonna propose to her. And now she knows. And I literally couldn't get it together. Like, I was so beyond excited that he was planning this, and that like when he came home, I was, you know, gonna be his fiance. And I was like, crap, like I can't tell him, like I don't want to ruin it for him, you know? Like I was gonna like go through with it, like acting surprised and stuff. And I don't know what was going through my head. I was so beyond excited. And so I just started crying, and I was like, you know what, like I can't stay in Village Inn at the moment. I'm bawling my eyes out. Like I'm gonna go collect my thoughts and my feelings, and I'm gonna go be in the car. So I basically went in the car and I was just crying, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so excited. And the thing is, when he was in Iraq, my mornings he'd be going to sleep, so we would talk for a little bit, and then I was going to bed, it was his morning, so then we would talk a little bit. So like my mornings and nights was when I would talk to him, and given this is breakfast time, so it's morning, my time, bedtime, his time. So we were like talking, like messaging when this happened. And I was just texting him the whole time, and I was just so happy. But then like I couldn't let him know that I knew. So I was just there like freaking out in the car, crying my eyes out, like smudging my makeup while continuing a normal conversation with him. And it was just so hard. Like I could not keep it together. But finally I did. I was just like, you know what, I have to go back and like eat my food. Like I don't even think we got the food yet. Like we just ordered. So I cleaned my face because my mascara was like running down. I cleaned my face up, kind of got myself together, and I just walked straight back in to Village Inn, and I was just so happy. So then Anthony ended up going to bed, and my mom and I, like, you know, we left and we just kind of started talking about it. And I was like, do I tell him that I know, or do I like not tell him and like him just go through with it and then like act surprised? Like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like this is big and like life-changing, you know? So my mom was like, yeah, don't tell him, like don't ruin the surprise, blah blah blah, like we'll just see what happens. And I'm like, okay. So like fast forward, he comes home. I'm in Texas when he comes home. I don't know when exactly it was. When I were in his barracks kitchen, we were kind of like having a discussion about our life or whatever, and what we wanted to do with our future. And we kind of got into like an argument. I don't know what it was about, but it was stupid and it was very like minor. But I just like, I don't know what I was thinking. I basically told him that I knew about the proposal, and he was like, how? And so I told him, and he goes, oh, well, I'm sad that you know, because like I was thinking about it, and I kind of just want to wait a few years before like you and I take that next step. And I was like, oh, okay, okay, like yeah, that makes sense. And I was so sad because I was like, is he having like second thoughts on our relationship, or like, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, yeah, like that makes sense. And we kind of just disregarded the rest of the conversation. And he was like, but I am going to be like the welcome home soldier, and I did invite your family, and like they gave us extra tickets, and like I want you to like come with me, you know, like to support me. And I was like, yeah, like, you know, I'll still be there, like I'll support you, like I'm sure my family will come and they'll be there and stuff like that to support you as well. And he's like, okay, like great. And so I, from that point on, was like, I guess he's not going to propose to me, and I guess we're going to wait a few years and then he'll surprise me some other way with proposing. After that, I forgot what happened, but my mom brought up like, oh, are you going to be there for him to support him with him being the welcome home soldier? And I was like, yeah, like, you know, even though the proposal isn't going to happen. And my mom was like, well, how do you know it's not going to happen? So then I told her, I was like, yeah, he told me he wanted to wait a few years, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, and plus, like, he didn't ask my dad for his blessing. And she goes, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, and I know he wouldn't do it if he never asked my dad for my hand in marriage, because that's just who he is. So I was like, yeah, there's no way it's gonna happen. I think this was the discussion the day before the game. So I was like, yeah, there's no way it's gonna happen, because he's only seen my dad once, and I didn't leave them that long to have that conversation. At least I thought I didn't at the time, but I mean, I guess I did, because he asked my dad for his blessing when he saw him that one time when he came back. So, but I didn't know that. It's the day of the game. Anthony wasn't acting weird or anything like that. He wasn't acting nervous until we were driving there. When we were driving there, he was acting a little bit nervous, and I honestly did not think anything of it. I was just thinking like, oh, he's gonna be in front of a ton of people. I would be really nervous. And so we get there and we find our spots, and Anthony was talking to someone, and he basically was like, yeah, so I'm gonna have you guys like all come down with me. Like they said that I could bring like all of you guys down to the field with me. So I started getting kind of nervous, but I still wasn't thinking that he was going to propose. And the whole reason why I didn't think that is, again, because I didn't think he asked my dad for his blessing, and I did not think he was going to, because he said he wanted to wait a few years. Long story short, we go down there, and as I'm walking, I'm looking at my friends. We're like talking about, oh my God, we're gonna be on the U of A football field. Walk down, and they're like, oh, we're gonna have you first do the dice roll, and then we'll recognize you, blah, blah, blah. When, you know, he rolled the dice, and then I rolled the dice afterwards, and then I turn around and he was on one knee, and they basically explained to me later that the whole plan was because he knew that I knew that he was going to propose, that he basically said what he said to get me to stop thinking that he was going to propose, so it would be a surprise in the end. Overall, it was perfect. It was literally perfect. It was the best proposal ever. I mean, my only proposal, but it was like my dream proposal, and he pulled it off so well. And yeah, and now we're married and about to be married for 2 years in December, and coming up in September we're going to be together for 3 years. And now we have our daughter, and we're living the good life. So yeah, that's basically the story. It's kind of crazy, but I'm happy with it. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification down below. Also follow all of my social medias. They will be linked in the description, and I will also put the link to the video of my engagement and stuff if you want to go check out that video next. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye guys.